gentlemen, guys, we got another Game 7 going on tonight after Texas gets it done on the road. How about Garcia? Another 2 bombs, absolutely red hot. We'll see if they keep it hot onto the World Series, and we'll see who they get. We'll get into that NLCS matchup, talk a little bit about what happened in Monday Night Football, and it is the opening day of the NBA season. We got 2 games going on tonight. We're going to talk about those, and as well as break down some of what we predict coming our way this season. We got a winner last night, John. D-backs plus 165, get it done for us. Always nice start the week with a big dog winner.
Absolutely. That was a tough one to go against Nola. He had been pitching lights out, jumped right on him. Got a great job by the Diamondbacks. If you saw the comment by the Diamondback manager, he says, well, we didn't come cross country to get our ass kicked, and they sure didn't yesterday. No game is a lock, guys. It just looks too easy. Philly's red hot, 23 homers, 11 games. Nola not giving up a run. It just doesn't work that way. It's all about the numbers. And as I told you, I didn't have a lot of confidence for those reasons. Philly had not lost at home in the postseason prior to last night. The 2 losses that the Diamondbacks have had all postseason long were in Philly. The number just was too high. We're all about numbers. That's what it's all about. If that game is $1.30, we don't like the Diamondbacks. Taking plus 164, we like the Diamondbacks come out with a W. Same thing with the Viking game. Wanted over 7 in that game. Vikings hadn't won a game at home all year. And Kirk Cousins comes out with a game against one of the best defenses. This is sports. It's just an edge. If somebody out there's got a crystal ball, let me know. I'd like to stop working 16 hours a day and just pay $99 a week or $299 a month and get all the answers to all the questions. But those 2 games, unbelievable, but the most unbelievable game. Texas, how about this Texas-Houston series? The road team winning each one of the 7 games. So it was a home disadvantage. We've talked about this literally since, I'm going to say August, with late August with Houston. Just 2 different teams, home and away. Couldn't figure it out. I'm thinking they should have started stealing signs again at home like they used to get this back in order. But, wow, Texas goes 3 in the first. Just to give Scherzer a little room, the old balls to the wall they went with that game. And Texas, a team that lost over 100 games 2 years ago, is in the World Series. Crazy. Who do they get tonight? Yeah, great night. But it's a better night tonight, Ben. NBA's here. This is it. This is my thing, guys. Look, if you're not a how to beat the bookie member, guys, what are you waiting for? We've already got 2-point moves in a game tonight. We got bets on both games. 5 NFL bets for the weekend. But why don't we get started with it, Ben? Bring us. Yep, just getting that message now. Bradley Beal doubtful. Go ahead, Ben.
Yep, so we'll start with a little bit of baseball, wrap up this NLCS series, and we'll go ahead and dive fully into NBA, guys. Start off, hey, D-backs, Phillies, we got another Game 7. Was this the 3rd time that they both go to Game 7 in the same year? We have Fat versus Suarez. Of all the big names in this matchup, Gallen, Wheeler, Nola, Kelly, comes down to Fat versus Suarez. And, hey, Fat's still looking good the last 2 starts. 10 shutout innings last 2 times out. Looked really good there against the Phillies in the 1 outing versus them. Was pulled a little bit too early in my eyes, 5.2 shutout innings. But, hey, when you got a rookie on the mound, you got to be careful with them. And I imagine he's going to have a very short leash tonight. Early, I think, sign of trouble. We're going to see him get pulled early, see this D-backs bullpen do a lot of damage just because it's tough, man. Pitching in Citizens Bank Ballpark in the postseason, hard enough already. Put a rookie in that situation, nightmare. Put a rookie in a Game 7, absolute nightmare. It's a tough situation. Suarez, he's been solid as well, a little bit brutal at home. This is a big, big price for not really a pitching edge to Suarez. I'll give him a little bit of an edge just for the experience factor. But, man, D-backs, like you said, John, manager wanted to come to Philly. They weren't coming to get smacked around, and them or nobody in this one again tonight.
Yeah, price again, guys. Price or nobody, and that's going to be D-backs. But I'm going to give Suarez a little bit more of a pitching advantage here. He's been great in the postseason, also allowing only 1 run over 14 innings. But as Ben said, rough at home, 1-3, 5.45 ERA. That covers 12 home starts. Hey, all the pressure on the Phillies now. A lot of talking, a lot of stuff, Red October. Now you got the price for the dog. Yeah, it's a tough spot for the rookie, but so was last night, a tough spot against Nola, who was absolutely lights out. It's all about the price here. Plus 150 is the right price to take. Don't think I would take anything less. Diamondbacks are nobody.
Yeah, question's gonna be if they can pull the crowd out of it. We saw them do that last night. They took the crowd out early. They jumped on Nola early, and we saw that with the Rangers too. They took the Houston crowd out of it early. If you can do that, then they're gonna have a chance. But we'll see who strikes first. We'll see who takes care of business in that game 7. Currently, no bet out to members there. But like John said, 2 bets out in the NBA tonight. We can start breaking down those games. A couple of good ones coming our way here. So the 4 best Western Conference teams, you could probably say, minus maybe Sacramento if you want to give them an edge in that conversation. But yeah, Lakers at Denver, Western Conference Finals rematch is the first game on this card. Obviously, Denver swept the Lakers last year. Lakers bring a lot back, and they bring in some new pieces as well. They have some nice depth. They bring in Vincent, Christian Wood, Taurean Prince. It's a nice little depth on this team now. And they've had slow starts the entire time in the LeBron era, but this is the most continuity in a roster they've had from one year to the next. I mean, even the year they won the championship, they kind of sold everything, got rid of everybody. You had a new look there around LeBron and AD. So I'm interested to see how that works. And obviously Denver, the most continuity of any team in the NBA right now, the best chemistry of any team in the NBA right now. Bring back pretty much everybody. No Bruce Brown, no Jeff Green. And if you guys tuned into any of what we talked about last year, anything NBA, you should know Denver gets it done at home. They were second best in the NBA, 34-7 at home. We'll see if they continue that torrid pace. And NBA champs have a good history, 60-16 on opening night. But a pretty big price here for a Lakers team coming for revenge. And you guys know revenge is a big look for us.
Playoff revenge. Getting swept, it makes that playoff revenge even bigger. 2 games in Denver last year, both decided, but 1 by 5, 1 by 6 points. Denver wins them. Just a little bit bigger of a game for the Lakers, something to prove, to go out there to say we want to get mentioned in the same breath, and you swept us. First night back, a little bit of a celebration night for Denver. And as getting back to what Ben said, these are, in my opinion, again, everything that we're going to talk about, guys, is health, okay? Granted, with the health. Because you can say if this guy gets hurt on every single team, it's a different outlay. But with the Lakers, it's even more so. We've got a 39-year-old LeBron James right now.
Ridiculous.
The level he's playing at this point is ridiculous. Don't know. There's a lot of LeBron haters out there. So just 39 years old, what the guy's doing right now is absolutely insane. Take that. Take AD. We know what these injury problems are. So it's just going to be tough. But this is game 1. We're right now worried about tonight's game. Tonight's game, these guys are coming in fired up. They'll look for a win. We took +6, minus 115. That was available at DraftKings earlier tonight. That's when 6 is a magic number. 6 and 7 magic numbers. That's 2 possessions. 7 is your give up number with those last seconds. A team will dribble it out. So 6 points. That's a 3 possession game. You've got to be up by 7 or more. 6 was worth the take. I think the Lakers will keep it there. They did last year. Like I said, playoff revenge. Getting swept. That's what's been on their mind all year. Denver, maybe a little bit of a tired team. They played an extra week or so going into the season, deep down the road. But I got to give the edge here to the Lakers. Playoff revenge. We'll be using that angle all season long. +6. Worth the small bet. Denver's the reigning champs. They're real good. Denver's real good over the long haul. They'll be there again. They're real good at home. Lakers were not great on the road in the regular season, under 500. Did not play good on the road in the postseason. But +6 is worth a small play. This was a 1-unit bet for me at +6.
Yeah, you talked a lot about the health here coming into this game. That's one thing, too, with LeBron. It's a bit of a different LeBron in game 1 than what it was in this series last year, playing through a foot injury, didn't really have much game time coming back and just went right into the playoffs, had Memphis. So different LeBron game 1 than after a full season heading into the postseason. So you'll see a more refreshed him. We'll see how that works. And also with Jokic,
look, the Lakers they really turned it up after the All-Star break. They made those trades. They bring D'Lo over. Different team. They add some pieces. on the off season.
Oh, yeah.
Lakers are up there. It's just, what are we going to get out of LeBron? It's just I think it's the impossible to ask LeBron to repeat his stats last year over a full season, and Anthony Davis. I mean, these two guys just ain't going to make a full season. If they were, they're right up there. They're in the conversation.
Correct. But I think LeBron tonight is better than any version he was in the Western Conference Finals based off the injury he was coming off of everything else. I mean, look what he did in the first half last year, averaging over 33 a game when AD was out, putting the team on the back for a little bit. So I think we're closer to that than what he was banged up in the Western Conference Finals. And Jokic, too. I mean, Jokic is a guy, the Europeans in general actually come over. They were spending all the time with the family in the summers. They don't play as much basketball. They usually have a bit of a slower start. Him and Luka, usually a couple of slower starts.
He has looked great by all reports, though, in the preseason. So, look, that's the best player on the planet. That's the most valuable player. They gave it to Embiid. We talked about this last year. If you follow the podcast and you follow us on Instagram, Embiid last year, I believe it was game one in the playoffs. Embiid out, Harden carried the team. They got to win. Embiid's worth maybe 3 points to his team. Joker's 5 points at least, depending on the spot, if they're home or away, what kind of team they're playing. There is no one in the NBA more important to their team than the Joker. He's worth at least 5 points if he's in or out of the lineup. And that's to me, that's the most valuable player by going by what they're worth to their team, how much I have to adjust my line. Luke is another one. He's up there with the team worth 4 points. He's questionable tomorrow, but that's for another day. For today, we like the Lakers +6. 1 unit bet on that one, Ben. We're not going to give our games out every day, guys, by the way. Today we're going to because it's the first day. But after this, we'll just give you our likes and our leans.
And then the other game we have going on tonight, Suns and Golden State. As of now, no Bradley Beal, Devin Booker with an optimistic questionable tag on his name. We'll see what ends up happening. That line moved up a little bit with that news this morning. And Draymond Green not going to be in for Golden State. Obviously, big moves. Suns, they bring in Nurkic, deal Ayton, deal CP3. First game of the season, they get CP3. Golden State, as far as getting rid of Jordan Poole, see how that works. Defensively, going to be a bit of a struggle without Draymond Green, but what Chris Paul brings, I mean, just his playmaking abilities, put him along the best shooters in the NBA, Clay, Steph, Wiggins. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Defensively, going to be a bit of a question mark. Lean a little bit to the over in this matchup. We'll see if that has anything going there. But it's Golden State or nobody here. We're going to get into, season preview. All these teams are now. A big thing we're talking about is continuity. There's the amount of fluid, the amount of chemistry. Obviously, Golden State has that as much as anybody. Phoenix, they might have it the least of any team in the NBA. They got a handful of games with Booker and Kevin Durant last year. Obviously, no Beal. And in a part of acquiring all the star talent, they have no depth at this point. So what are they going to get? What are they going to get with Nurkic, Grayson Allen? What's that going to look like? They got a lot to figure out. And just as far as the X's and O's playing together and everything else, you have Golden State, one small change, Poole for CP3. CP3 probably has the second best basketball IQ behind LeBron. I don't think it's going to be much for him to make that adjustment, fit into the schemes. And then, Golden State, we all know what they did at home last year. John, I'll let you tell them about that.
Golden State was just lights out. They were money at home. Best against the spread record. I think they've finished with the third best straight up home record, but the best against the spread record at home. Phoenix just didn't get it done on the road. Phoenix, this is an overhaul. Excuse me. They trade Johnson and Bridges and a whole bunch of guys to get KD at the trade deadline last year. Then they get rid of CP3 and Ayton this year, and they bring in Beal, a couple other guys. Look, this is a complete overhaul. Ton of talent on this team. Don't get me wrong, but they don't have a true point guard. Golden State has two real true point guards now with CP3 and Steph Curry. We're gonna see how this all works out. But Phoenix they're gonna need a little time to gel. This group now really all together. We knew Drake Green was probably going to miss. If he was going to play, he was going to play limited minutes at best. He first started playing 5-on-5 on Friday. Booker and Beal sat out the last practice. So again, even these guys just missing practice for a new group. They need this practice time, unless you're Allen Iverson and you don't need practice. Practice. Look, you need practice time. That's what NBA. It's split seconds, being in the right spot. Five guys moving like a hand. So yeah, no true point guard. Ton of talent. You're already going to be missing one of your potential ball handlers in Beal. I would imagine him. Booker would be splitting that duty up, and maybe even KD playing a little point forward. But yeah, give me the team that's been together, that's been through it all. They win at home. We laid Golden State -1, guys, and this is why you want to be. I had to beat the bookie. Remember that line sitting at 3 right now.
Yep, line keeps ticking up. I'm not a big prop better, but one prop that just screams out to me on this game is Kevin Looney on his rebounds. Phoenix definitely a bit smaller now, and then Nurkic, not a really big rebounding threat, 1, but 2, this dude was getting 15, 20 rebounds in the playoffs last year. In the preseason, he had a 14 rebound game in the preseason in 24 minutes. So I think this is a matchup he could get a lot of rebounds tonight if anyone's looking at props in this game. John, we got a lot of
Let's
NBA.
just throw this out there because I'm not a prop guy, and I don't know if you've got it up, but what's KD's points? Because if Beal's out and Booker's questionable, he's got to go for at least 30, or it's not even a game.
Yep, I'll pull up KD's exact points number here. Yeah, I'm interested to see, one, if Booker plays, how that dynamic works. Obviously, look good in the postseason. But 2, if he doesn't play, I mean, you mentioned, the point guard situation. We've seen Kevin Durant have random games where he's kind of been that point forward type of player when he's forced to do it. Yeah, his line's set at 30.5 exactly. So
okay, yeah. So I mean, that's with Beal out, that's his number, and Booker's out, he's going to even score more than that. Or, well, like I said, it's a blowout, which we hope it is, because I'm not a prop guy. Just throwing that out there for the guys. So hope Beal, Booker are both out, and LeBron goes for 40. But we still get the W.
All right, guys. So we have a lot of NBA changes, obviously, a lot to talk about here. We'll do a little bit of a season preview like we do before every single season. But real quick, as John already mentioned, crushing lines, already a 2.5-point move there with Golden State. And that's going to continue throughout the season. If you guys want all those, sign up on the app or the website. So let's just talk about some of the big changes off the bat. Let's just list some of them, get them out there. We can start going off a conversation from there. Obviously, the 2 Eastern Conference powerhouses, Milwaukee and Boston, pulling away from the rest. Boston, Holiday and Porzingis they bring in. We'll see how that works. They trade away some of their depth. And then Damian Lillard there. I mean, it's pretty clear. I don't think it's a sharp thing to say by any means. Those 2 are the front favorites in the Eastern Conference for a good reason. Philly, obviously, all the drama with James Harden taking steps back. We'll see what goes on there. Any other Eastern Conference teams catch your eye right now? And then secondly, your thoughts between those 2 teams. Who do you give an edge there, Boston, Milwaukee, heading into the season here?
Those are, I would say, clearly the top 2 teams, but they're going to have to get it done. And again, we can't say without injury, because an injury could hurt Boston. They're not deep. They did trade away a lot of depth, but that starting 5. Can Porzingis stay healthy? Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis. That's a solid 5. And then you got Lillard playing with Giannis now, 2 superstars. We've always talked about Middleton being the Robin to Giannis's Batman. How do they share that spotlight now with Lillard? Those are your 2 top teams. I don't think there's a question about it. Yep. Cleveland, that's the other team that can they break through? Can they pull an upset? They played great during the early part of the season. Defense, where they were hanging their hats on D. Jared Allen gets hurt at a part of the year. Team just never regains their step. They go into the playoffs and they get knocked out by the Knicks. We were all over the Knicks in that series. We saw that one coming. Can they get back to where they were beginning middle part of last year? Mitchell, Garland, they've got to stay healthy. They've got to give them points, and they add Struss. They're the next team in my eyes in that East if somebody falls down. Philly, a lot of drama in Philly. Don't even know what's happening. I don't know how you take Harden back on the team. He hasn't been in practice yet. These are your brothers that you're with every day. You don't want to be here? Well, get the fuck out of here. That would kind of be my attitude. So tough to take this guy back in. And this is the guy that's running your team. Basically got the keys to the ignition. The ball's in his hands most of the time. Tough spot. So what can you get for Harden? His value diminishes every day. So we'll see what they can get from Phillies. Will Philly be up there? I just don't think they're that team.
Agreed.
Couple other teams, if we want to talk about.
Yeah, really quick. I want to touch on what I was going to touch on what you brought up with Cleveland as far as them being that third team in the mix there. I mean, you said defensively that they were stellar last year, led the team in points allowed. Offensively, though, in the playoffs, 5 games, they only broke 100 points one time. And they got to figure out offense, which I think is kind of a good thing. I mean, teams nowadays, defense kind of is the second thing most teams are lacking. We see that all the time. Dallas, Phoenix. I mean, some of these teams offensively, they're fine. Defensively is the woe. So of all things to fix, the easier thing, we'll see if they get it sorted. But yeah, interested to see some of those other teams you're thinking there in the East.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Garland and Mitchell. They've got to score. They brought in another scorer with Struss. They've got those 2 bigs, Mobley and Allen, to rim protect. But you've got to score points. But defense wins championships. Keep that in mind. And Phoenix might want to keep that in mind. Phoenix, they're going to score $130 a game. They've got to pull some stops. And I don't know who the stopper is on that Phoenix squad.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not going to be Beal throw out his back in the. I'm over under, John, 70 games between Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal this year. Combined 70 games with Bradley
Beal.
Yeah, how many games do you get with those two guys?
Let's call it 35 each. Can they both stay on the court for 50 games? I'm gonna be a nice guy and give them the over. If it was any lower, I'd probably take a look. Injuries is such a big part of the game, guys, and it's not just these long-term injuries. It's guys sitting out at the last moment. Now, we expect that not to be so much this year. The new rules that the NBA is trying to enforce as trying to keep the coaches from sitting teams, sitting star players when they're actually not really hurt. Don't know how they're going to enforce that. Who's to say my knee's not hurting me? So we're going to see how all this plays out. But look, injury is such a key part of the game. An hour before tip-off, that's when your start lineups come up. And we're on top of every move, every lineup change, every line movement. And that's what you're going to need. So watching the show is great. Remember, we're shooting this show right now. It's 11:53 a.m. Eastern. Golden State tips at 10. A lot can happen between now and 10. Beal makes a miraculous recovery. He's in the game. Booker's in the game. And for some reason, Klay Thomas got ill and he won't play. A lot of shit could turn around in 10 hours. So that's why you're going to want to be how to beat the Bookie member. We'll keep you right up to date. Let's go back to where we were, Ben.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these sleeper teams in the Eastern Conference, because obviously we talked about 2 teams at the top of the list. Then you have Cleveland and 76ers scratching at the heels, trying to be a part of it. I guess you could throw Knicks in that conversation a little bit too. But after that, I mean, a lot of these teams, I mean, Brooklyn, Toronto, Chicago, just not nearly in that competitive range. I mean, I think Orlando is arguably going to be on that hinge this year. And we might be disrespecting Miami Heat. I'm not talking about them yet, but Miami, a lot of big losses there. I mean, they're a team that was trying to get Dame. They were trying to get star players there. They haven't. They missed out. And they lose Vincent. They lose Strus. Is Tyler Hero going to take that next step? Is he going to be a part of that big 3 that about on Butler? I don't buy into it. And obviously, they're not a regular season team. So not a team you're going to be getting much value on in the regular season.
Yeah. Don't take Vincent and Struss as small losses. They're big losses. Leaves Lowry as their point guard right now. Hero, if you guys remember, finished the year hurt last year. That big 3, it's a nice big 3, but it ain't the big 3, Hero, Butler, Bam. That ain't Giannis, Middleton, Lillard, okay? Nope. That ain't Tatum, Brown, Pores, or Holiday, if you want to call it. So that big 3 is a good big 3 for Miami. Lower tier, a lower tier playoff team. A weaker division, that the Southeast Division, probably one of your weaker divisions. You got the Hornets, you got the Wizards. Those 2 teams are going to be terrible this year. Atlanta, Is it addition by subtraction? They got rid of Collins. Let's see how that team plays. Trey, you got the keys to the car. Let's see you can take it. They got rid of the coach, McMillan, who was a great coach in my mind. Let's see if Snyder can take this team in another direction. So you're in a weaker division there with Miami. So it's going to be them and Atlanta battling it out for that division. So that's the good thing about that. But as far as playoffs where they stack up, they're not with those teams. Then, of course, we get to the playoffs and we see playoff Jimmy. This was a different team in the playoffs that got to the championship last year. What he did against Milwaukee, I'm still like, did I really see that? So this just a team that played way over their heads in the playoffs. Not as good as they are in the playoffs. We'll see how they start here. A team that I think everybody's got a little lower than they do is Toronto. I don't think Toronto's that bad. And I think they'll be fighting for those bottom playoff spots or play-in spots also. Charlotte, Washington, Detroit, maybe a little improvement. Let's see how Cunningham comes back. He missed the entire year basically last year. So we'll see if they can make a step up away from that sickly six, I call that bottom six, that bottom tier. Other than that, you're just to what you said. Bulls, Pacers, Knicks, Magic. They're all going to be in that hunt for those play-ins to play off spots.
Yeah, if anyone's looking for some sleeper futures, as far as making the playoffs, I think the Pacers and the Magic are two of my Pacers make some nice additions. Halliburton, and obviously they had something going nice with him and Matern and Miles Turner already, but Bruce Brown, such an underrated pickup. Guy does all the little things, vet. He has playoff experience. He's played on multiple star-studded teams, and now he can come in and be the vet for these younger guys. Obi Toppin, nice slasher. He looked pretty good in preseason. I mean, Halliburton second in the league in assists last year. I feel like he's a guy that's going to get well with him. So I'm higher on this Indiana team, and I'm pretty high on Orlando. They had a lot of injuries last year. When Banchero was healthy, looked really good. Franz Wagner looked really good. Still not a lot of depth, and they've been really bought in on this young team they have. They just haven't gone to free agency, haven't done trades, just fully bought in on this young roster. Wendell Carter, nice piece. Markelle Fultz when he's healthy. Gary Harris when he's healthy. So I think they take a step forward this year behind Banchero. Those two have been my biggest sleepers, I think, to make a playoff roster spot. We'll see if that pulls out.
I could see Orlando making a step up also. I'm just getting a little info here. And Indiana, remember, they played hurt at the end of the year. When these guys get healthy, so you got Bogdanovich is going to be out also tomorrow for Detroit. That was a spot that we were looking at that'll going to want more points with Detroit now. We'd have to take double digits. Anyway, just thinking out loud, we're always working. We're watching the Lions move in real time here. But yeah, Pacers, Halliburton, Turner, and as Ben said, Brown. That's a piece that Denver lost. He gave them a lot when he was over there.
Definitely.
He can even handle the ball. I liked him since he was on the Nets. But yeah, Pacers again. They'll be fighting all in that bottom tier playoffs, 5 to 10 playoff to play in spot. Guys, injuries. You just can't predict it. That's why I don't mess around with futures. I want to bet the games as they are because it's who the team is today. Point example, Phoenix Golden State, 2 months from now, Phoenix starts to gel. Bradley, healthy. I might like Phoenix. I may make Phoenix the favorite at Golden State. Today, without that time being ready, that prep time, that practice time, I got to like Golden State.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about Orlando was their success against a good team last year. 3 games against Boston. They took both games against Golden State. They split with Denver, split with Milwaukee. I mean, the tougher teams in the league, they had a winning record against the top 4 teams in each conference, which is just very impressive. So we'll see if they take that stride. And then the West. The West is a really big toss-up. I mean, you got obviously the best 4 teams going tonight. You can throw Sacramento in the mix. They were, 3rd seed last year. Obviously just ran into the crosstown rival with the most playoff experience in the NBA in the first round. So that's going to be a bit problematic there. We'll see how they continue to develop. Team I'm really high on, and I was high on them last year, the New Orleans Pelicans. I really like this Pelicans starting five. We'll see if Zion can stay healthy. I think they're a team that can move into that mix. And again, it's all about Zion staying healthy. When he was healthy, they were top three in the West, and they fall all the way out to the play-in. And if we talk about continuity, some of these teams, I mean, behind Denver and Golden State, they're probably third in the West as far as starting five. I mean, think about Memphis. Memphis loses Dylan Brooks, Shaw Morant, Steven Adams for first half season here. That's 3 of your 5 starters. So Phoenix, obviously, a lot of changes. Devin Booker, the only remaining piece from the championship team. Pelicans been banged up, but a lot of continuity there with that 5, John.
Yeah, going back to Memphis, also Clark, I think it was the Achilles last year. He still won't be back. Adams undergoing surgery. They didn't correct whatever they had. Memphis is blown up. Just with Ja out also, a totally different team. But talking about New Orleans, yeah, is Zion going to really play? Could this guy stay healthy, or is he another AD? Even worse, let's just see. Starting 5, McCollum, Ingram, Herbert Jones, who showed a lot, plays D, and then you put Zion and Valanciunas in there. That's a serious starting 5. They're going to have some depth issues to start the season. A lot of banged up guys, but look, just what Ben said, they started off the year great last year. Can we see that again? I think we can. Let's see how long Zion stays healthy for.
That's what it comes down to.
Other teams in the West, I mean, it's just going to be tough to crack that top 4. Again, are there chances? Yeah, because as we've said, LeBron and AD playing 80. They ain't playing 70. So what are we going to do with the Lakers there?
I will say though, with that note with the Lakers, I mean, you look at a team like Phoenix, same thing, injury prone players, but no depth. At least I think Lakers have maybe the deepest team in the West right now.
Look, Lakers absolutely do. Again, what we're talking with the Lakers here, my main thing with the Lakers is I expect LeBron to start the season strong. Can 39-year-old LeBron still be playing well after the All-Star break?
Absolutely.
How much gas does he got left in the tank? So that's kind of where, again, the season doesn't start till after the All-Star break, basically, as you're starting to tune up for the playoff run. I think it's a foregone conclusion, obviously, unless LeBron and AD both go down. Lakers will be in the playoffs. Positioning, not the end all. Yes, important to have home court advantage. A team like Denver, they lost one game in the postseason on their home court. I believe it was a 10-1 run on their way to a 16-4 playoff postseason run last year. So yeah, you want to get those home court advantages. But getting back to the West, like we said, I really feel the top 4 teams in the West are the teams that are playing tonight. Ben mentioned Sacramento. They're going to be right up there or right underneath. Timberwolves could make that step. Can Cat and Gobert play? Look, Cat missed a lot of time with the injury last year. And then you got this Pelican team. Can they stay healthy and be in there? Dallas has got 2 of the best offensive players in the world. Can they make this work with no date? It's Kyrie and Luka. And I mean, look, again, as I said, 2 top offensive players didn't seem to work last year. Now they got some time together. Can they make this work going forward? And that'll be another interesting thing to look like. I'm tired of saying the Clippers. I say the Clippers every year.
Yeah.
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Could you ask for 2 better wings on the same team? They just can't get it done health-wise. They just can't get it done. I'm not even going to say it. Let's see what happens out of Clippers. But they're another talented team that could be right there outside that top 4 or even break into that top 4.
I will say, I think this is the best fit for Russell Westbrook since his OKC days. I mean, he's stopping Houston, Washington, the Lakers, you name it. I think this is his best fit since he was in OKC. So we'll see how that works. Obviously, he has some of that history with Paul George. We'll see that happens. But yeah, can Paul George and Kawhi stay at all healthy? Not they won't stay healthy at all healthy. Can they be there come April? We'll see what happens with them.
And this is why, guys, every day it's no NFL. It's usually on a Friday. We've got a real good day after they release the practice report, who's playing or not. The NBA is literally day to day, sometimes hour to hour. Is the guy going to play that day? Is he not going to play? So the injuries are so key. When we're talking key players, as we said, a guy like Joker is going to move the line 5 points and beat. Giannis is another guy, 4.5. Luka, 4 points. These guys are going to move the line tremendously. And even smaller players, a Brunson to the Knicks, huge. How he turned that team around. They finally got a point guard. So these injuries are huge, and any one injury could turn things around.
John, talking about player value, obviously we haven't even seen him in his first NBA game yet, but when you're playing on one of the worst teams in the NBA and you also happen to be one of the best two-way players, Victor Wembanyama, I have him as a 3.5, 4 points to the number off the bat. And I know that might be a bit too bought into the hype. Watched him in preseason a lot. Just one of those guys, just defensively. Forget about the fact that he's 7'4", can dribble it, shoot it. Just defensively, such a problem. He averaging almost 3 blocks in the preseason. We'll see how it carries over. But I think just what he brings to a team, both sides. And obviously, San Antonio, they don't have much else going. Keldon Johnson, Vassell, Devontae Graham was actually serving suspension for a couple of games. But because they don't have much more going, I think he's worth more of the number. I'm interested to see what you think of that. Obviously, I know you want to see him play in some actual NBA games first.
What I will say is I'm watching this guy, and the length of his arms almost look like a cartoon character. I mean, it's just it's really ridiculous. We've never seen somebody that at his size could look. Porzingis, yeah, they called him the unicorn, but this guy's the real unicorn. Now, can he stay healthy? Me and Ben just talked about this the other day, and I said, if this guy had to be in the center in the 80s, early 90s, he'd get beat the fuck up. They would just body him till no end. Guys like Ewing and David Robinson, just too strong for the skinny young guy. Can he come out? What is he going to be worth? Always remember, that first of all, I still got San Antonio as a bad team. I don't have them even making the play-in. So when your rating is low to start with, it can't go much lower. If you're a good, like, in other words, Denver, Joker's worth so much. Denver's a really good team. You take him out of there, you're going to drop him a lot more. Right. I'm trying to make you guys understand this. So we take a you take a KD, you take a Joker, and then look, they're part of the reason that the team is as good as they are. So you're going to drop them more because they have more to drop. When you don't have so far to drop, you're not going to reduce the number that much on him. Again, it remains to be seen. My number right now, if he was to miss the first game, I would take 2 points off San Antonio. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how. I don't expect him to dominate yet. We'll see how that goes.
I definitely think there's going to be learning curves, some of the bumps along the way, everything like that. But I see him as. I see his worth to what Halliburton already is to Indiana, and I think San Antonio will be as competitive as Indiana is in the East. So we'll see if that carries through. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, we haven't seen game 1 yet, but just the size, everything else. I mean, think about Boban. He's the same height as Boban, but with the athleticism of like Rudy Gobert and Kevin Durant. It's just ridiculous.
Totally get it. There's a lot of other factors. Is he ready for an NBA schedule? The travel, the practice, what the wear and tear on his body, the banging down low. So a lot of things that we'll see how he's doing a few weeks into the season.
Yeah. I will say Luka, who went pro in Europe, young, played pro. He had a pretty smooth transition to the NBA. And some of them say that the NBA is a bit easier just based off the rules and everything else. So I'm interested to see if that's how it is for him. I mean, what Luka averages rookie year, 21, 7.8, and 6. Just pull that up. We'll see if he's somewhere on par.
Oh, I expect Wembanyama to put up the stats. There's no question about that. Look what he's playing with. That's the other thing. Putting up stats on a bad team is like dating the ugliest girl at the prom. It's you got to put up stats on a good team.
You don't have too much experience with that, do you, John?
No. I never finished high school, so I didn't get to a prom. But besides that, Popovich, this is, for my money, the best coach in the NBA.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna start sliding Spolestra up there. Popovich may be at the end of his time. Real tough to get a reading on San Antonio, especially what he did at the end of last season. He was sitting half the starters one game, starting in the next while he sat the other half. I'm sure he's ready to start playing these guys now with Wembanyama to see what this team's got in him. He's got some other decent players over there. Let's see how good they are. I'm going to learn as much as everybody else when we start watching this kid play.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in a situation too where they're going to have to build through free agency. I think he's going to be good enough off the bat. They're not going to be in the lottery anymore moving forward. So we'll see if that's the case. We'll see if they pulls him out of that lottery. But I don't think they're going to be getting any top 10 picks while he's on that team. And so maybe this year a bit more advertising for free agency. One other Western team we didn't really get to touch on here, and obviously this is another lower tier team. They were tied with San Antonio for the worst record in the NBA last season. Houston Rockets, a lot of changes. Bring in Udoka as a head coach first and foremost. We saw what he did in Boston. He looked like a great head coach. Everything was great schematically. They had the best defense in the NBA. You bring in a guy like Fred VanVleet. You bring in a guy like Dylan Brooks. You add some vet pieces to a team that starting five is not too shabby. You got VanVleet, Brooks, Green, and you have Sengun, who was really good last year as well in the 5 spot. So interested to hear your thoughts on Houston. And, obviously I don't think they're going to be competitive with those top echelon teams in the West, but I wouldn't be surprised they, find themselves in that back end play-in mix.
I just don't have them up there. I still have them down. Look,
Portland,
Dylan Brooks
Utah.
Playing with Memphis, played his defense, did what he had to do. Too much about me, Brooks. Wants to be heard, wants to be seen. Don't know how that's going to fly, but with a bunch of young kids. VanVleet, again, think he was a good fit with Toronto. Don't know if he's the guy to be your main offensive weapon. So I just don't know if I see it there. But you take Houston. Who are they better than in the West? Are they better than the Jazz? No, and I don't. They're not better than the Jazz. Are they better than the Spurs? I think they might be better than the Spurs, but Ben doesn't. He thinks Wembanyama is going to make that difference. So if anything, they're good as the Spurs. Portland got rid of Lillard, but they got a lot back. They're not better than Portland. So to me, I can't find a team. I'm sorry, Ben.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on point. Brogdon, Grant, Ayton, everything they have cooking up there. That's a nice. Their issue before was depth, and now it's the opposite of the problem. They have depth.
Yes, now you just don't have that superstar to take you over on. Look, no devaluing Lillard's worth. I mean, talk about hitting big shots and ice in his veins, and I mean, Lillard's a superstar. There's no question about it. Absolutely. How does it all fit with Giannis? Middleton now, does Middleton take that back seat like Bosch did back in the day with LeBron and Wade? How does that all work out? Chemistry, guys. NBA is chemistry. We just saw KD, Kyrie, James Harden on one team and said, "Oh, the Nets won the championship. They didn't get out of the first round." So chemistry, if that it ain't fitting like a glove, it's not going to work. And that's why, another reason tonight I'm going to be against the Suns. I don't expect them to have chemistry day one. Mm-hmm. Just like a lot of teams, the teams that are just putting themselves together. Give me the team, all familiar. Steph knows where Clay's going to be with his eyes closed. That's the team I want to have against the team first starting to put their stuff together. But yeah, Portland. They'll have a chance again. They were totally decimated. So don't go by the Portland team that you saw at the end of the year last year. Decent team. They would have been, in my estimation, a bottom tier playoff team last year had they not got decimated by injuries. So now you get rid of Lillard, you get some pieces back, you got the depth. We'll see where they go. So yeah, as I said, Houston to me, if they're not the worst team in the West, they're the 14th team in the West. Don't think VanVleet and Dylan Brooks are going to do anything special for that team. the biggest thing they did is Udoka,
Udoka, yeah.
the coach.
Agree.
Loved what he did with the Celtics. Celtics were a different team last year. When he was there, they were playing defense. They locked down KD in the playoffs. That's how they beat them. They were a different team. So I like him as a coach. Let's see him on the comeback. Can he grow these kids up? This is going to be another year. If they take a little step up, that's progress. It's all the progress they can hope for.
One more team here, John, in the West, and they've kind of been our betting sweethearts the last couple of seasons. Oklahoma City Thunder, last couple of years, top 3 against the spread, getting it done. And they have a really nice young team. Obviously, they have a million draft picks. They have all the capital in the world for the next 10 years. They probably have the best future lined up ahead of them as far as assets. But good team last year, makes the play in, and now they get Chet Holmgren, who looked pretty good in preseason. Obviously, we'll see what he does. It's a bit different, than a true rookie. Spent a time with a year with the team, year with the staff, year with the practice, everything else. But this OKC team, do they take that next step? Do they fully become one of those maybe top 6 teams in the West?
As Ben says, we probably didn't make more with any team than we've made with OKC in the last couple of years, and they've been undervalued. That ship has sailed. They will not be undervalued. Game 1 this year, they are a road favorite, a small road favorite. It's actually picking some spots, or OKC won at the Chicago Bulls. So we won't be steal. Guys, this is all about value in the NBA. And we were pretty much getting it every single day. They were undervalued, but no, the line makers caught up with OKC. They see who they are, and OKC is going to be another team. They're not top 4, but they're up there, and they're going to be a team to reckon with down the line. Still loaded with picks, loaded with young talent. Shai is a legit star in this league. The next step is superstar. I don't think he's superstar, but he's a legit star in this league. He's definitely close. Giddy got to make that next step up. I like his game a little bit. You bring in Holmgren. Hey, this team could be real. Again, they don't have the level of the top 4, but they're going to be in the playoffs, as they snuck in at the end of the play-in last year. They'll be in the playoffs, I believe, this year. But with a first-round exit. And again, it'll be a building block for them next year.
Yeah, we talk about, chemistry, continuity. That's one thing they're going to have. I mean, they have had this same little young core they've been building up for a couple of years now, and then moving forward. I mean, that's how dynasties are made. We see it with San Antonio. We see it with Golden State. That's where it starts. You get it through the draft. You build it up. So as far as chemistry and continuity, it's not a brighter future in the NBA than OKC with that note.
That's it, guys. Little long of a show today than I wanted to have. I want to keep your attention. Hope the information is valuable to you. Again, we're going to give you our games today. Not going to give them out every day, but we took Lakers +6, -115. That was a 1-unit bet. That game's moved a point. Looking at 5 now. We took Golden State Warriors -1. Sent this out. Did we send out yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. And this is what we're going to do, guys. I never tell you I guarantee you we're going to win. I guarantee you we're going to beat the line more than not. Yeah, can an injury come up and bite us in the ass once in a while? That's going to happen more times than not. We're going to beat the line. We laid 1. Golden State's now 3. We sent that out as a 2-unit bet. We don't wait for the guys the sharp guys to bet and watch the line move and then tell you to bet it. We are the sharp guys that move the NBA line. NBA's here. All the rest of the sports I'm not stopping, but they will take a little bit of a backseat as we crush the NBA for the next few months.
Nope, guys. If you guys haven't seen it before, NBA is John's bread and butter. If you guys want to be a part of it, go sign up on the app or the website. And big MLB season, big MLB playoffs right now. Been crushing NFL seasons. The best NFL betting season I've ever witnessed from anybody ever. And NBA getting going. So it's a good time to become a member. And college football is running hot. John and I 16-4-1 the last 3 weeks. Name a sport. We're killing it right now. We're crushing numbers. Check out the app. Check out the website. Let's make some money, John.
I wish I had a couple more extra hours in the day so I can read a little more college football, but I'm going to start leaving that a little bit more to Ben. But you guys get the idea. If it's a sport we can handicap, we handicap it and we win at it.
Yeah, don't ask us about hockey. We don't know that though.
No hockey, no tennis, no UFC. Stick to what we know here. And NBA Day, nobody knows NBA better than I do. Let's go get them with the Warriors, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Nice money.